Hi, I'm Brooke Erdman, and today I'm going to talk to Jerry Brooks, and he's going to share with us his experience with carnivore and how that's been working for him. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
Hi, Brooke. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and thank you so much for taking the time with us and sharing with us how it's been for you to work on this carnivore diet and
Well,
healing
thank you.
yourself with the carnivore diet. So let me just ask you, how did you get started and why? What was going on for you when you first?
I was 53, and at the time I was a little bit overweight. I wasn't grossly overweight, but it was mostly an energy thing. And I was following a low-fat diet like most people do. You're trying to do what the doctors and all the ads and everything you see is telling you to eat low-fat. So I was eating what I thought was a good diet, like usually oatmeal for breakfast, maybe a little protein powder. Um, I thought I was eating a pretty balanced diet. I'd have a piece of fruit for break in the morning, maybe a non-fat yogurt, a little bit of rice, green beans for lunch, uh, chicken breast with it. And I did eat a little bit of ice cream at night, but I mean, overall, I was pretty regimented in eating the same stuff, or even I would have for breakfast, like egg whites and, turkey sausage. Also for dinner, we were eating a lot of ground turkey, the wife and daughter, and chicken breast, mostly lean meats, rarely hamburger. I didn't, completely not eat it, but it was mostly a lot of ground turkey, chicken breast. And anyways, I just wasn't feeling well. And it was kind of disappointing. Like a lot of guys my age, I went and checked, see if I have low testosterone. They're like, no, it's fine. And you're just kind of frustrated. I was working out pretty much, but other than that last maybe 6 months, year, I was pretty low energy. So I was having a hard time working out. I was kept wanting to, but it was hard doing it. And somebody at work was talking about keto, and he'd lost 100 pounds on it. And at first I kind of ignored him, but he was coming in every day. He was all full of energy. He was still overweight, but he lost 100 pounds. That's impressive, And he kept talking about keto and eating all the high fat stuff. And I, at first kind of ignored it, but then I started looking into it because what I was doing wasn't working. And I started researching a little bit, and it's like, what do I got to lose? And I did, end up talking to him, asked some advice for some stuff. But once I got in, it was kind of little transition, just cutting out the carbs first, trying to cut back and even get a tracker for your food. And it was kind of shocking, because most places what I tried to get was under 50 carbs. And when I first started tracking, 50 carbs was one of my six meals, or what, because I'd have 3 meals and usually 2 breaks. And when you start tracking that stuff, it's like, this is shocking. Every meal is more than 50 carbs, and I got to get 50 carbs a day. So just, started cutting the stuff off. And after a couple of weeks, I just went in and started doing it. And it was just, once I got the carbs under 50 grams and stuck with it, it was just immediate. Started, got into ketosis after a few days. I got the strips to check it, and that was kind of giving you some positive reinforcement that, it's working. And then also when you start stepping on the scale and the weight starts coming off, it was just, once I got on board, I stuck with it and went from 210 pounds to 170 in about 6 months.
Wow. So you started a keto diet to lose weight
yeah, I mean, it was still meat heavy, I guess. Clinically it would be a carnivore diet. I mean, it was meat based, very little vegetables, no fruit. So I would still think clinically, I mean, not 100% carnivore, but like a lot of people, you start off with keto.
Absolutely.
And I've went through phases. Like last year I did the carnivore month, and went good. Had a little bit of stomach issues like a lot of people do when you do it. And I just did the carnivore month, but overall I'm probably 95% meat. I have maybe a little bit of berries or an occasional cheat meal, but it's pretty much carnivore, like my regular day.
So can I ask you, when did you start eating red meat? You're telling me that before you were eating turkey.
Oh yeah. So it was after I got into keto for a while, because at first I was eating like pork chops. I'd even have like chicken breaded in pork, pork rinds. And after I started researching it and hearing some of the people like Dr. Baker, saw him on Joe Rogan, and some other people, looking into the carnivore, that I kind of switched over to almost primarily red meat. Now, a typical day is a couple hamburger patties. They're like third-pound patties, so I have either 2 or 3 for lunch, and then for dinner, normal dinner is like 12 to 16 ounces of steak, and also adding in a little bit of fats and stuff too.
It's a lot easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It makes it easy. I bought a freezer for the garage, and I got one side that's stacked with hamburger patties, and the other one stacked with steaks. And after this, stuff we've been going through, I stocked up on it, so I got a good 30, month and a half supply of steak, on hand, just in case they start having a hard time to get meats like it was for a little while.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And so, did you notice any non-scale victories or changes in your health?
I mean, a lot of stuff. The sleep definitely improved. Just some minor things like, I had a little skin tag on the side of my nose by my eye. It wasn't huge, but it was definitely a skin tag there. And I never did anything with it, but, I was wanting to get it maybe burned off or something, but it's kind of close to my eye, so I don't want to be putting acid on there. And noticed after going carnivore, that kind of disappeared. But just energy, big thing. And like I say, sleep. Let me see what else. Joint pain, arthritis.
Nice.
Had some arthritis in my hand. I work with tools, and definitely it's not 100% gone, but it's much better. It's rare that it gets really sore like it used to. I used to take ibuprofens or some type of anti-inflammatory pills, daily. And I don't do that anymore. So those were some of the big things, and some eczema too around in the face area. Used to get red a lot in here, and it's not 100% gone all the time, but it's definitely better as well.
How long has it been now?
It's been over 2 years, about 2.5 years since I went, keto, and then kind of switched over to carnivore more
Right.
kind of like the last year, with primarily red meats is what I eat. I occasionally maybe get some ribs or something, but it's mostly red meats, a little bit of eggs, a little bit of dairy.
Do you get to, do you have a chance to work out with your schedule or?
Oh yeah, I do definitely. I get up right now, I can say with my energy and sleep, and I get up without the alarm clock between 3 and 4 in the morning every day. So every morning I get up and do a light workout of some kind. I used to go to the gym, but all the gyms are closed down now. And after losing the weight and stuff, it was at 54. I started doing CrossFit workouts, which was kind of fun. I couldn't imagine doing it, before. And they always look kind of cool, just going, doing the ropes and jumping up and down and, jumping on boxes and stuff. And it was kind of neat going to, doing a box jump was so high, and then almost, getting twice as high, and I actually got a little carried away and fell a few months ago and sprained my wrist. So I'm kind of nursing my wrist now. It kind of set back my workout a little bit, but that, kind of mad that I did it, but it was kind of fun that at 55, I'm having these goals, have this dumb goal of wanting to be able to dunk a basketball, which I doubt if I ever will, but I'm pretty close. I can almost touch the rim. And I just, it's not a bad thing to have goals, even if you don't reach them, but just trying to,
Yeah, hopefully the gyms will be open soon and we'll both be able to go back to the gym.
Yeah, but I do have some stuff. I work out at home, do push-ups. I got some exercise bands. I have a little thing in the backyard to do pull-ups. When I'm not working, I take my dog for a walk, which is about 1.5 miles, and been doing some sprints out in the front of my house, early in the morning, sometimes 4 in the morning. I'll be out there, watching people's lights go off, and they're probably going, who's this weirdo running down the street at 4 in the morning?
Who is the whole family eating carnivore, or?
No, it's on my own, unfortunately. So that was a little bit of a challenge. So I do my own thing, and they do theirs.
No. And I'm curious, this guy at work, does he still work there? He
was the I'm an electrician, and sometimes we have different our trades that travel, and he was a traveler from Southern California, so he was only there for a few months, so he's not there anymore. But there are a couple guys at work that are doing ketogenic, one for diabetes, and another guy, he's like 20 years younger, and I was talking to him about, carnivore and, and this, he was like most people, you get brainwashed and like, oh no, this Harvard study said this and that. And then we had to work together, and we had to climb 100-foot up something, 100 foot's a pretty tall climb. That'll win even people in shape. And I was able to climb all the way up without stopping. And he's, 20 years younger, and he thought he was the Energizer bunny. And, once he did that, I kind of, made him look bad. And then I showed him the before and after pictures that I sent you. And, it's like, this is what, look. And then he started actually doing the carnivore too. And he lost like 20 pounds or so pretty quick. I think he went off it, but, I try to encourage people like, everybody does without being preachy, but I'm thankful that the guy at work kept talking about keto. And, even though people, like I say, most people were blowing him off, including myself, but he was persistent, and I'm glad that I finally listened to him and talked to him and got on board. So I try to, share what I've learned, and also just, I feel great. I feel like I did in my 20s, when in better shape, leaner than I've ever been in my life. Always growing up had a little bit of a stomach, and never kind of outgrew that. I was never, lean, athletic guy growing up or anything. So to be able to get lean and stuff at 55, I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm definitely on board with sticking with it.
So you said about 2.5 years. That's me too, about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And I think that it just seems to get better in kind of a calm way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, like you say, another thing. I mean, I was never on any medication or anything, but definitely my mood, I feel just more steady, more, ready to take on challenges, or even when things aren't going well, to be able to face stuff. Definitely, I would say definitely a mood improvement, more positive thoughts, and, Yeah,
that's great. That's a great advantage.
But that's why we're talking about that. Why, like most people, when you go to the doctor, they're always obsessed with what's your cholesterol. So before starting keto, I'd go like get my yearly blood test. It was always borderline high cholesterol, kind of, I was borderline low side on pre-diabetes, just over 100, maybe I think my highest like 105 glucose or blood sugars. And, again, no matter how much I tried to cut out sugars and stuff, that never changed for the glucose. And then also when I was changing my diet, it was always, around close to 230, 220. And when I went on keto, it did go up, and it went all the way up to 330. But after learning everything, I'm not concerned with it at all, because I'm fairly knowledgeable about stuff. And I think tracking like your triglycerides to HDL, which I recently got to be under 1. I think my triglycerides were 73 and my HDL was 78, so it's under a 1 ratio. Which this last one,
what are your triglycerides now?
Like I say, they're 73.
They're 73.
Yeah, 73 triglycerides, and the HDL is 78. So I've heard in the past, like even if you get down to like 2 to 1, I think, but I'm under a 1 to 1 ratio with the triglycerides to HDL. From what I understand, that's supposed to mean if you have, if your LDL is high, or no matter what your LDL, if you have that kind of a ratio, it's supposed to mean your LDL is all big, fluffy, healthy type LDL. So again, I'm not concerned with my LDL, but my total cholesterol did come down this last time. So it's 249 now, but I have a really high HDL, and my doctor finally quit trying to prescribe me statins, because the last 3 or 4 times I've actually got rid of a couple doctors, because that's all they're obsessed with is like, oh, you need to get on some statins. And it's like, I've lost 40 pounds or 30 pounds, my blood pressure is good, everything else is good, but they just want to prescribe medicines to you, and it's unfortunate because
and you look great, and you're feeling good, you're strong, it's, blood pressure. I mean, it seems like it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Looking at the paper, they can look at you, but That's great. That
Mhm.
sounds like things are really working out for you. Um, do you sometimes feel, do you open your diet up to other things right now, or are you
Like I
kind of,
say, every once in a while I'll have a cheat meal. Like I say, I've had added in some berries, occasional, like I've had an occasional piece of like sourdough bread. I've heard, like if you're going to eat stuff, like if you eat fermented stuff, or especially with bread, I know there's some different people I've followed who talk about, that's more uh, better if you're going to eat stuff to have like fermented things, better for your digestive. So it's not too much. And like, when I was doing keto, I was doing some of the keto pizzas and, the almond flour and stuff, but I cut out all the almond flour after learning about oxalates. And also I completely avoid any vegetable oils. So it's on a day-to-day thing. It's just mostly, I'd say, hamburger patties for lunch and steak for dinner. Occasional add some eggs in. I do have a little bit of bacon too sometimes, some cheese. I still do drink coffee. At some point, maybe I'll try to do that. Actually, I went the first couple of weeks of January without coffee, but I missed it. And it's, and I've been off work, but I'm going back to work. So I'm doing different, being a little more strict. Being back to work probably be a little easier, but day to day, it's mostly red meat. And I have added, I do add some organs in, just a couple ounces of a couple different organs. Just, again, I know there's a lot of people that don't eat them and do just fine without it, but I figure it can't hurt eating some organs. And I have added in some like tallow too, and some
good for you. Glad to hear it. Yeah. So do you do all your cooking then?
Yeah, I do. It's pretty easy. I either cook it outside or I even have like a Foreman grill with what I use most of the time. It's pretty easy. Plug it in, close the lid in 5 minutes or 3 minutes, however long, how thick the steak is or hamburger. Open it up, it's done. Put it in the thing, and then cooking some eggs is pretty easy. So yeah, I do cook everything myself. And before I got eating just the hamburger and stuff, I would just do meal preps when I was working. I would do like one day of just meal prep, and put everything in the freezer. So when I went to work, I just grab something out of the freezer, take it and eat it that way. So it is difficult, but again, just stuff doing like a meal prep once a week on a day off.
Yeah, you could just bring burgers to lunch or something.
Yeah, but right now I just I'll cook it daily. I don't put stuff in the freezer anymore. I'll just take it out and thaw it and cook it when I need it. Like for the lunch for the next day, I'll cook the night night before, or my wife will cook it for me. So yeah.
Good deal. Has your diet influenced your family?
No, not as much as I would hope.
No.
They're still doing their own thing. They kind of messed a little bit of it. I think they're still, stuck with what you read all the time. Oh, we got, they're kind of in the low fat thing. And it's like, no, you need some fat. It's, especially saturated fat. It's healthy. It's good for your hormones. It's good. It's essential. And I'm trying to, preach gently, but not too much. So,
Well, surely when they see you eat a ribeye, they want some of that.
yeah, they do, but I'm trying to get them even on board with eating red meat. They're still on eating the ground turkey and chicken breast and stuff, and that's their thing. If that's they want to do, and I do try to do it, but no, I'm unfortunately eating alone.
There you go. Well, you gotta do you. They gotta do them.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
when the time comes and they want to, you're right there to help them. So.
Yeah. Hopefully they will. But I say I've had I feel so good, and they're just I can't go back. I can't go back to eating the low fat stuff. And even if my cholesterol was 400 or 500, I would still be doing what I'm doing because
All the low fat, all the time of doing low fat.
Yeah,
I understand.
It makes me angry too when I think about it, because I think most people are trying to be healthy and they're just following the wrong, getting the wrong advice from everybody, including their doctors, mainstream media, everybody. And it's frustrating because,
Yeah, just the fat alone, just the saturated fat instead of vegetable oils, just that alone.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important. I think the vegetable oils, carbs are bad, the processed ones, but I think the vegetable oils are even worse, and especially the combination of the vegetable oils and then the processed carbohydrates are bad combo, I think.
Well, I'm glad you found your way,
Yeah, me too.
and it sounds like it's working out for you and you're going full ahead. So I want to just ask you one more question. To someone who is like, considering it, what would your tips be for them?
Well, I mean, depending on where they're at, but I mean, for me, I just, first kind of get a food tracker. There's a bunch of free ones online. Get that first. And I would say if they're starting, well, I don't know. There's a lot of people that jump right into carnivore. That's not how I do it. I think most people probably went through keto first and then, go over into carnivore, but just start tracking your food and try to get into ketosis and just stick with it, even for a short time. And if you do, I think, you'll start seeing results, and it's just encouraging. Like I say, when I first started, I got the keto strips, the urine strips, and then I'll doing that just to see if you get in, and then you get that little feedback. Oh, you see it changing color. And then also you start feeling being in ketosis, gives you that extra energy, and just stick with it. I mean, it's like I say, when the weight starts coming off and your energy's better and you're feeling good. I mean, I would say just stick with it, give it a try. Even if you're skeptical, do your research and just try it.
Sounds like good advice. Just try it, feel good, and stick with it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you so much for spending your time explaining this to us. And I think.
Yeah, thanks, Brooke. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Okay. Take care and carnivore.
Bye.